Hey guys, welcome back to WildStyle. So today I'm going to go through our order from the Good and Beautiful for Homeschool for this year. First thing that I got, this was kind of an extra that I got just for the kids to have fun. This is the flower game. I think there's different varieties, different ways to play it. The ones that they were playing today looked more like it was like Go Fish almost, but with flowers. And so this actually has helped them to learn different types of flowers, which is why I got it. And so it's kind of fun. So there's just like the most common flowers in here, and then they kind of play. It's a Go Fish type of game with it. But I think there's other games in there they can play. That I just got them to do in their free time so they can learn some flowers, have some fun learning. The next thing I got was this William and the Wind book. This is a level 3 book. I do have, this year I have a 3rd grader, a 6th grader, and an 8th grader. That's what we're going into. So those are the levels I'm going to go through because that's what I bought. This is a book for level 3. I think they had a promo going where you got free shipping if you spent or bought so many books. So I just kind of bought one I didn't have. By this point, I actually have most of their books, so it's getting hard for me to find stuff I don't have. This is a spelling practice book that goes with the language arts literature book for level 3. And my daughter did it. I don't mind it. I think some of their spelling is moving more towards online, like an app or something. And I do feel like that might be a fun way to go to add to it. I'm not sure if that starts in level 3 or if that starts in level 4. I haven't seen it for level 3 yet, but we haven't got into this yet either. So this is Language Arts level 3 course book. Tells you in the level 3 course book when to have them do the spelling book, so you'll know when to do that. Okay, then I've got for level 3 the math book. This curriculum is fun. Usually with my older 2, by the time they got to level 3, they could read through the lessons themselves and do the problems in the worksheets. And then I just told them to come to me if they have questions. So I don't know if this child will do as well with that. We'll try it and see. But even if not, what I'm doing currently with him right now for level 2 is I go through the lesson portion together with them. And then when they hit see, this one's structured slightly differently. When they hit and this one is called review and activities, when they hit that section, I have them read through those instructions and do those on their own. In the level 2 book, that's called independent practice, I think. And so they can go through and do that all on their own, and then I'll just go behind them and check it, make sure they're understanding it. This book also, you need to buy with it the math box. And so with it comes a array or grid. And then on this side, it has the months of the year, temperature when water freezes, temperature when water boils, average body temperature. So I'm assuming they can write on this, and then I think it just dry erase marker and erases off of there. There's little tangram pieces. These are flexible, and they're kind of made out of like a plastic. There's a measuring tape because they do start to do a little bit more measuring once they hit this level. A couple different kinds of dice for some of the games and stuff that they have in the curriculum book. And then some of the games, you need little people place markers. So they give you those in there. So that's the Math 3 box. It's a cardboard box. It kind of magnetizes shut, which is really nice. So fairly simple. I also have him currently working on handwriting level 3. He will move up to handwriting level 4 at some point in the year. So I just went ahead and got that. So I also did get the Language Arts level 3 answer key. They do start to get into some trickier stuff, and I don't want to take the time figuring out myself. So sometimes it's just easier if I have the answer key there and ready to go. In level 3 or grade 3, I do start them on the creative writing notebook. This just kind of helps them. There's not huge writing. Mostly they're just coming up with ideas for things they could write about and practicing just being a little bit descriptive and things like that. So I'll just have them do like 1 page of this a week. So it's not intense. It's just real mellow. But you can work that however you want. Okay, so then I'm starting with level 6. So handwriting level 6. I actually think I already had this one, so it's going to be a duplicate, but I will save it for my other child. Hopefully I won't reorder it then. But the handwriting level 6 is more about working more on their cursive, forming words, and I think they even get to where they're doing some cursive paragraphs kind of towards the end of this book. So fully able to read and write cursive usually once they get done with that book. That's just working on refining that, perfecting it a little bit. She is now on creative writing notebook number 2. So she should be finishing up her first one pretty soon, and then we'll have her start the second one. As you can see, this one you are doing a little bit more brainstorming, a little bit more writing. It's not as much coming up with ideas. You're actually getting into a little bit more writing with this one. Math course at this level, at this point in time, it comes in 2 separate books, which is nice. Because they're smaller, it's not quite as much to lug around. I just keep the one on the shelf that we're not using and then pull it out when they get to it. She does her math mostly independently now. I will help her. Some of those concepts, especially in level 5, have been very difficult to learn, and I just think it doesn't matter the curriculum. I think like grade 5 math is difficult. So I do help them when needed, but it is nice because they can watch the video and then go through and do the lesson. So if they come up and ask me for help, I say, oh, did you watch the video? Because I want to make sure that it's been fully explained to them by someone who knows what they're doing better than I do. But I do make sure that they watch the video, and then I will go in and help them and explain it further if needed. Sometimes it just helps to have that video explanation first. So they can do that on their own, and then I just go through and check that. So she's also going to hit handwriting level 7. This is the last of the handwriting books, and so this is just making sure they can do, now they're doing full poems. There's also some fun drawing and stuff in here that includes with it, so it's not like 100% handwriting. I usually have them do handwriting about twice a week right now, and that seems to work for us. So we're not moving through these really fast. They're also not getting bored of them because they're not doing it every single day. This is a book I got, for one thing, because I think it's fun to watch birds myself, but I also was trying to get to the 5-book thing so I could get the free shipping. So I got the bird watching notebook. It looks like it's going to be fun. It kind of tells about, it has like a bird log, tells about some of the birds, and then you can also, teaches you about parts of the birds, how the birds use them, what their tracks look like, what their feathers are. So there's some good information in here. Okay, I'm going to move on to level 8. So for level 8, I'm actually going to start her on the high school biology levels, but we're probably going to work through them pretty slowly. So these are, she may be technically a bit young, but we're going to work through it slow. So I'm not too concerned about it. There are, how many is this? 6 units in here. And then there's a book that's just the tests and the quizzes. And then you can print off or just look online. There's an answer key for the tests and quizzes, so that you can have those. So the high school biology workbook has labs interspersed with it, which is one of the reasons I picked it. My kids do some online curriculum, and so I didn't want to just have their sciences online only. I actually wanted them to be able to have hands-on stuff, and so this gives me guidance for that while still being fairly easy to put together. It's not every lesson that has a lab book with it, or a lab guide with it, and it tells you at the beginning what supplies you need so that you'll know when you need to kind of go shopping, so you can look ahead. Let's see if I can find that page. And so it tells you what supplies you need for which lesson. And so like, it looks to me like the first lab is going to be lesson 2, and most of this stuff I have around the house. Once I hit lesson 4, that's when they start needing a microscope. So you do need to buy a microscope for this course. Keep that in mind. But I do think it's an important skill that they learn how to use. So I think that will be worth it for us. Okay, the language arts for level 8. I think maybe they're working on a new one. But for right now, they have book studies. And I was really kind of nervous about these because I didn't just want her reading. But as you actually look through these, I felt better once I got them and actually started looking through them, because there actually are lessons they're calling them book studies, but there actually are lessons in here where they're still doing spelling, homophones, vocabulary. I don't know if they have, yeah, there's some writing too, it looks like. I haven't gotten into this a ton, but I do think there's some writing in here. So if you want heavy writing, this may not be, you may want to add something to this, but there still seems like there is some grammar. There's actually some art still in here. So I'm excited for these. For level 8, right now they have 3 different ones. Well, technically maybe 4, because there's 2 in this book. But The Touch of Magic and the Story of My Life, the Abraham Lincoln one, and then Wild Like the Foxes. And so I'm excited for something a little bit different. So we'll see how those go. But if I feel like they are too light, I do also have my kids have just a 30-minute block of reading time every day as our schooling. And if I feel like these are too light on the curriculum side, I may have her switch these just to that reading block, and we may do a different course for the actual language arts part of our day. But I'm looking at these, I'm feeling like there's going to be actually plenty of curriculum in there for us. But we'll see. Options, keeping my options open. Okay. So level 8, she is starting with pre-algebra. So there is, again, 4 course books in pre-algebra, and then an answers and solutions guide. So these are, my kids like them. Once again, these do have a video introduction lesson. If they want to use them, they can. They can also just read through the lesson. Mine seem to like the video instructions first, just having somebody explain to it how to do it, and then they can work through those practice problems and any review problems. So this is a spiral curriculum, so it goes back and reviews things they did in previous chapters, which I think is really helpful because my kids tend to learn it and then forget it. But if you're reviewing it, then you don't forget it quite so quickly. Okay. So with all the language arts courses, once they start, I think that's level 8 is when this starts, then this grammar and writing guide goes with them. So if you're ordering the high school courses, you'll get this, but you should be able to keep this and use it for all the levels of high school and level 8 for your other kids too, as they get there. It's really, seems like it's really well made. It seems to be good quality as far as I can tell, but it's got all sorts of helps to help them write. So this is reminding them how to do the sentence diagramming. This is grammar, punctuation, when to use what. Let's see, the next section, commonly confused words. So words that sound the same or spelled different, have the same meaning, that sort of thing. And then just writing in general, so guidelines on how to write in general. When you do lists, when you use commas. I'm assuming there's stuff for how to cite. Oh yes, so this is citing sources. It's teaching them how to cite different sources to make sure that they are not plagiarizing, teaching them that. So it seems like a really nice guide that they'll be able to pull out and reference and probably learn pretty good by the time you get done with 4 levels. So something new we're starting this year is the Good and Beautiful History. So I just bought this one, and we've done 1 lesson in it. We have been doing the Story of the World series, and that's really, really good. It's fun to read through those. And then there's a big book with that one that has activities. I wasn't very good at getting those activities done. Just because they're not as open and go, and I wasn't very good about preparing those ahead of time. And so it was mostly just reading and then answering quiz questions. And so while the reading is enjoyable, and you could probably get more out of that curriculum if you're more prepared than me, and you could actually look that up and prepare those additional activities. This one, however, we did 1 lesson in the Good and Beautiful's history courses, and my kids loved it. And so it was actually really fun, because they're excited to do the next lesson. So I'm really excited for this. We actually decided to start back in year 1, even though some of that's going to overlap with what they've already learned from the other curriculum we did. But it is, I think it's going to be really fun. So it walks you through, well, this is not the course book. Let me grab the course book. Okay, this is the course book. And it walks you through exactly what you need for that lesson, because there's a lot that goes with this, and that's part of what I love about it, but it's also all ready to go for you for the most part. There's a few items you may need, but it tells you what you need when you need it, and then as you just kind of walk through when to have them do certain things. So for my kids, they have what they're calling Student Explorer books, which is just kind of a little activity that goes after the lesson. So there's grades 3 through 6 has one, and then grades 7 through 8 has one. And so like this first lesson was on creation, and so 3 through 8 are drawing pictures of what happened during the creation, and grades, let's say 7 and 8, they're drawing pictures, but then they also had like an extra little thing that they read about and do. So a little bit extra for them, which actually my 7th grader thought that was just fun. So she liked having something different than what her siblings were doing. That was a little bit more at her level and at her interest. And so I thought that worked out really well. It comes, well, I don't know if it comes with the curriculum. If you buy the whole thing, technically, comes with these timeline books. And so I got one for each kid, but they're really, I think these are what my kids are most excited about. And that's just part of why we started from year one and didn't jump ahead at all. So they each have this timeline book. And it opens up here. And then they will put little stickers as you talk about events across the timeline. They will put little stickers on them. So at the end of the back of the book is the stickers, and they'll peel off the matching ones and put them on the timeline. And then eventually that timeline will be filled out. So they keep this timeline book throughout the whole 4 years, and they will complete that as you do all 4 years of the curriculum. And so it just keeps going. And they were really excited about that. They loved doing that. Then there is maps and images book that goes with that, and the curriculum will prompt you for when you need to use these. So it's super easy because it'll tell you, open up the maps and curriculum book to this page. And so I think for our lesson, we did we talked about this picture of trees and clouds, and it'll tell you why it's not colored in. That'll all make sense then. But then lesson 4 looks like you're going to talk about the Fertile Crescent. That has just nice colored picture there. Ziggurat of Ur, nice colored picture there. So it's got pictures. It's got maps to show you certain things along the way. There's also what looks like in the back things that are going to be punched out because they're perforated. And so I'm not quite sure how we're going to use those yet, but it will tell you as you go through. And so that's going to be fun. Just kind of enhances the lessons. The lessons are fairly simple and easy. And then there's also history stories that goes with it. And so we have not got to one of these yet. But when it prompts you, you'll read a story about that time in history. So really well illustrated. I just think the illustrations are pretty and fun. And so the story doesn't seem too hard of a read, but interesting enough that I think the kids will like them. So there's just stories that go with a certain point in time. So it'll be kind of fun to go read through those. And then for this curriculum, you also need time tunnel review cards. Now this you buy one, and it's supposed to last the whole 4 years also, is my understanding of that. And it'll tell you when to use what cards. And so as I look at the guide here, the ones with the star in the upper right corner are year 1, and then there's multiple years in here. And I think it just, as you hold up a picture, I'm not quite sure how these work. I think it'll tell me, but then they'll talk about it. So on the front is a picture of the Rosetta Stone, and then on the back is all kinds of information about the Rosetta Stone. So those will be fun, kind of help them review their history. And again, the curriculum tells you when to use those and which ones to go through. So that will be handy. And that's it for, there's a lot to get with that history curriculum. But like I said, my kids have never been so excited to learn history. And so I'm hoping that that keeps up throughout the course. And I do think it will, just because there's so many different things that they're doing all the time that it's not going to be so monotonous as some of the other curriculums can get. So the one thing I didn't cover was for level 6. I did not get that child the language arts yet. They're coming out with a new one here in a couple of months, and I'm waiting for that to come in before I get that. I didn't want to do the old curriculum again. I wanted to wait to see the new one that came out. So we're waiting on that, so I still will need to go purchase that. But if you guys have any questions on that, let me know. Otherwise, happy shopping, I guess, if you're going to go do the good and beautiful. And hopefully this is helpful for you. You can decide what works for you and your family, which is the beauty of homeschooling for sure. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.